we have reached the end of 2025, meaning it is now time to talk about the worst releases of this year. Now, I don't do a full video ranking every horror movie that I've seen because I watched 40 new releases this year and I just simply don't have the phone storage to make a long video like that. But if you do want to see my full ranking, I will be posting it on my channel. So 1 through 40, you'll be able to see the full list there if you are interested in seeing that. But when I go over my ranking, or if you go see my ranking on my channel, please keep in mind this is my opinion and my taste, and yours are going to be different than mine. So I am recording my best and worst back to back. So for simplicity, I chose to have it as number 1 being not the worst of this year, and number 10 being the worst horror movie that came out in 2025. I also chose to have this as a mindset for my 10 at least, which was, you make me watch one of these movies. Which one would I want to watch over the other? So that being said, let's talk about the top 10 worst movies that came out this year in my opinion. Starting out at number 1, I have The Woman in the Yard. Now this tells a story about a mother who notices a woman in her yard is just sitting in her yard, but gets progressively closer to her house. Now this movie is revealed later that this woman in the yard is representative of what the mother's inner struggles. And I'm not really a big fan of heavy movies like this for the most part. It has to work for me. But I couldn't really connect with the story, and I can't relate to what the woman was going through, so yeah, that is part of why it's here. But it was not a terrible movie, but to me, it's just generally not my type of movie. And I have struggled with depression before. And I was suicidal at one point, but I just couldn't connect with the movie. And it gets dark. It gets really dark. And number 2, I have Fear Street Prom Queen. And I had to Google the plot of this movie because I could not for the life of me remember the plot, only what happens in it. Fear Street Prom Queen tells the story of, in a high school, the prom queen court is getting murdered one by one. And this movie is bad, but its worst crime is being very generic. And that's very disappointing because this part of Fear Street and the Fear Street trilogy that we got was really, really good. I really highly enjoyed that one, but this one is just a generic movie. It does do a plot reveal of an entire family being the murderers, which I didn't entirely hate that, but the whole movie is it's just generic. And number 3, I have Hell House LLC Lineage. Now look, this is about a woman who is investigating the Hell House LLC house, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because there is a lot going on in this movie. Now, I like the Hell House LLC movies. I like very little found footage movies, but this is one that I actually do like the franchise in, but I can understand why a lot of people don't. But you have to know the entire lore of the 4 movies leading up to it. And I watched all the 4 movies leading up to it, so I was able to kind of understand and fill in some gaps. But if you haven't watched any of the movies and you know anything, you are gonna be so confused. And look, the worst of this movie is, yes, we have to know a lot about the lore, and yes, there's stuff in between. But the ending, they bombed that ending so badly. Like, they did a reveal that the girl that we do follow is related to one of the people that was originally in Hell House LLC, which is the first movie. And that causes some questions into really everything. And this is the last movie of the trilogy, which is so disappointing because they tried to put a bunch of stuff in and it just didn't really make a lot of sense now, because I'm like, there's so much going on in this movie. I'm very disappointed, but it is not a great movie that came out this year, even though I did get some joy liking out of it, as I do like the franchise, but it's not great. At number 4, I have Keeper. Now, this is about a woman who goes with her boyfriend on a trip, only to reveal that she really should not have gone. Now, this came out earlier. It's like probably the most recent movie of this entire thing. And to me now, I'm like, it's fine, it's okay. They have a lot going on in the entire movie. They make a lot of it very obvious. There's a lot of things that you can really like set forward, and it's very predictable in that manner. And that's not usually a big problem for me, but for this movie, it was just, they have a lot going on, it's predictable. The toxic relationship stuff didn't really fully relate to that in the character, but I did get enjoyment out of the last third act. That I did actually get a little bit of enjoyment out of that one, so that's kind of why I have that placement right there. At number 5, I have Bone Lake. Now, Bone Lake is a story of a couple who shows up to an Airbnb only to realize they're sharing the Airbnb with people they don't know at all. And if the movies below it weren't as bad as they are, this would be number 1. I don't like this movie, clearly, as you can tell by the way I speak about it, and it's the worst. So let's just start. Before I even go into how I want this, I want to start at the beginning. Weekend opening of a woman just running around in the forest naked. No, this does not add to what's going on in the Airbnb. He then reveals what he think of my writing. The boyfriend of the couple, boyfriend-girlfriend, he wrote this story out. You then get really, really bad dialogue and then they show up to the Airbnb. And look, first of all, this couple shouldn't even be together. It shouldn't be together. At some point in this movie, when they go to the Airbnb, the only name I remember is Sage. And yes, fine, maybe the woman in the other couple isn't as bad, but I just, not a fan of that first couple. Then comes Sage. And she's like, oh, we can stay. So they come out. And the guy that Sage is with takes the ring of the other couple. And what does he do? Ladies and gentlemen? He goes and he stays when this guy he lets him keep the ring, first of all. Like, he doesn't say anything. He finds out he can propose because he walks by the car. And he's like, oh, you're gonna propose? Like, yeah, I was hoping it's secluded. Okay. He steals the ring, proposes to his girlfriend. She says yes. This man does not say a word at all. He pulls him aside and says, you can keep the ring till the end. Because he's having problems in his relationship. Well, they also have problems in their relationship. Because he's feeling insecure, she's kind of feeling insecure. Say just kind of not helping the situation. Then it gets revealed that they are related because they don't leave after he proposes with the other guy's ring. And the guys are annoying in general. I'm not a fan of these guys at all. So then we find out that Sage and her are brothers. It's like a little twist reveal. And I'm mixed on that. I'm really mixed on that concept. I am. And we get a long doubt. We get a very long thing of the third act was stretched. So eventually the other couple gets free from Sage and her brother. Now, what do? They try to get out. But what they do, instead of making sure that the people that were trying to kill them were not, try to kill them, they get out. And they would do something like, she had a knife at one point, and he's like, oh, stab me. She doesn't stab him. No, she just runs away. There was at one point that he had Sage down, and what does he do? He just leaves, doesn't make sure, doesn't finish the job. Basically adding minutes till the end, which was really, really annoying. And then finally at the very end of the boat, this couple should not be together at all throughout the entire movie, by the way. He said, I should write a book about it. What did I say at the beginning? That first thing, that was his book. So he basically said, I should write this book. Even though he was already kind of writing in the beginning. Like, that is such a small detail, but on top of the extended third act, because of that, it was annoying. And I understand someone could watch this movie and be like, wow, that is not a bad movie. But I did not like it, and this movie generally did piss me off. So at number 5, Bone Lake. At number 6, I have Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now this story picks up a few years after the events of Five Nights at Freddy's, and we learn that Abby's not over what she's gone through. Now this movie is made for fans, I will admit it. I'm not a fan of FNAF. I know very little about FNAF, but I never got into it as a fan, admittedly. But this movie is just generally not good. The main characters, Vanessa and the other guy that we follow, generally got me so annoyed. Mike, first of all, I'll start off with Mike here. Mike learned some bit information, and he's like, wow, I can't believe that you didn't tell me this. Keep in mind, he's mad at her, and I understand why he gets mad at her. But he's surprised that he learned more information about her father being bad and is surprised by, even though he already learned her father's bad. And gets mad at her for it, which, yeah. Because she was friends with this girl as a kid. I remind you, she was a kid when this happened. And that I kind of got annoyed with. I'm like, how are you mad at her for not telling you this bit of information? Especially at dinner previously. You were like, let's just move forward. And she was trying to talk, whatever. Vanessa didn't say a word. Okay, she doesn't say a word. And at the very, very, very end, because this movie also does conveniences, and they have little stories and plots, whatever. I don't really care for it. The animatronic design, nah. But the only good thing I will point out is, like, I do think they do, like, the design of the restaurant does feel very creepy. And the jump scare with the lake isn't terrible for me, but predictable, but it kind of a little bit worked on me, admittedly. But at the very end, after all this is happening, it gets said, they won't hold us off forever. What? Mike now learns there's a new threat. What does he do with this information, right? He says, I don't want you in our lives, Vanessa. Bye. Don't talk to us again. Great. Good on you, Mike. Because he's trying to protect his sister, Abby. But he does not pass to Vanessa the information that he needs to know that he just got warned about. And just little mind stuff like that throughout the entire movie. So, leaving that. Number 6, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. At number 7, I have Wolfman. Now this is about a man who goes to his cabin after getting attacked by a wolf, only realize he's turning into a wolf. Now, I had to rewatch this entire movie because I didn't remember a single thing about it. I kept getting it confused with Werewolves, which was a 2024 movie about werewolves. Yeah, it was very forgettable. It felt the first 30 minutes were rough to get through for me the second time around. It got a bored for me, if I'm being honest. And it's just really not a great movie. The wolf transformation is mid for me, but it's just not a good movie, and it's just kind of slow for me. It was a drag to honestly kind of get through, but the interesting idea, it was there. And the convenience of the car too, of it like not working, I'm like, okay, I see how I was trying to make it work. Not great. Number 8, I have him. I would describe this as simple football and horror visuals. Football plus horror visuals is basically the entirety of this movie. And I am nor a football fan. And there were a lot of visuals in this movie, but a lot of it is football. I'm not a fan of football. The message is very surface level, which is basically like train hard and stuff like that. And just not for me. It doesn't land the ball for me at all. The ending, I understand what they were going for, but at the same time, I'm like, meh, it's still football. So overall, number 8, him, I could say people have this higher than I, but I'm like, it's not great, y'all. At number 9, I have House on Eden. Now, this is a recent watch I watched this month because I was trying to make it equal amount because I was at 39 and then I was made 40. Now, this is about a person who wants to investigate a haunted house for their YouTube or some kind of channel. And I know there's TikTokers or like YouTubers behind this. I didn't know who they were before this movie. And this definitely feels like a YouTuber type video. And that being said, did they go for a twist of with Mary and the Garden of Eve, which could be interesting if I didn't find some bits annoying in the movie, but it's just not a great movie. It definitely fits the template of this. If this was a YouTube video, it wouldn't be that bad, but it is found footage too, and I'm not a found footage girly too, so found footage YouTube type video, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it, even though I could see fans liking it more, and you know, it's not for me. And at number 10, the absolute worst of this year, The Strangers Chapter 2. Now this follows the events after the first one, where Maya wakes up at the hospital only to realize she did not get away with it. And this was bad for many, many reasons. The guy died. The guy she was with died. Not that he was a great character in the first one anyway, but replacing all the problems with the first one, you got a whole new bunch of problems with the second one. The biggest one for me was plot conveniences, of course, throughout the entire movie. Second was they made one choice here, which was the house. How are you gonna tell me this nurse at the hospital knows where that Maya is gonna be at her house? What? We find out what happens to Tammy, which no one really asked for that information, but okay. And I was right. I kind of predicted we would see what happened to Tammy. I don't know if she died or not, but if she did die or not, I'm calling it right now. Maya and them are gonna team up, and somehow Maya's gonna get involved, and they're gonna try to find Tammy. That's my call. That's how I think chapter 3 is gonna go. But then they do a stretch. Now keep in mind, Maya gets out of the hospital, but she makes a choice to leave her phone on the elevator and just runs away so she can't call for help. What, girly? And that was an obvious way to add time, but this is just full of cliches. A lot of it is just a chase movie, but not done very well. It was just bad. I did slightly prefer it over the first one, easily, because the annoyances I had in the first one were more annoying than the annoyances in the second one. And honestly, when it comes to chapter 1 and chapter 2, which is better, it goes to what things do you find annoying? And, you know, what do you find less annoying? That's one you like. So I like this one a little bit more, mainly because I got less annoyed than I did the first one, but it's not a great movie. And it did make the worst of this year, worst of 2024 too, chapter 1 did. So it's joined with chapter 2. So this was my personal ranking of the worst of this year. Comment down below what your list looks like. I'll see you guys next year.